Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm continuing to work on my pocket idea journal, and I'm just doing pages in it. And I haven't been decorating too much. I'm just wanting to make a reference journal that I can go back and look at different pocket ideas. And I know we've already explored, if you've been following along on my series, we've done some different triangle ones, but there was one that I wanted to do, just a long basic one, just to remind me that sometimes it's really cool. And this is some staggered pockets we did the last time, but it's cool, like if you have one long one this way and then you also do a long one on the other side. It's good for like a middle of a signature book. I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to make the one long one just to kind of remind me of that. So I do want to make mine from this way. So let's make a long one here. And what I'm doing is I'm finding each corner and I'm going to cut. And I guess I am all on camera. I wasn't sure if I could get the whole paper cutter on camera or not here. So I'm just going to cut this. It's kind of a long rectangle piece of paper. It's the same size as my page right here. So I'm going to go like this, and it's going to just be glued down. Again, this is just a basic one. We already did a shorter version of this in our journal. I just wanted a long one in here just to kind of remind me. So now if this was like my middle of my signature, I'll just show you guys. If this was the middle of my signature, I always think it's fun to have pockets. You know, this one, obviously, I would need two the same, like that. But it's kind of fun to have two pockets that look the same in the middle of your journal. But I just wanted one really long one in here because I hadn't had a long one in here yet. So I'm just going to glue this one down real quick. And then we're going to just keep on moving on. I think I have, like, besides this one, I have maybe 3 others to share with you guys, and the last one has a few folds in it, so I'm not quite sure how long that'll take me to do on camera. We're just kind of spreading out. I'll try to add in some, basic, more simple pockets, and then, start adding in some more folded ones. And another basic pocket, again, that I have to share with you guys, and we'll do this one together. And I forgot to put, I've been labeling all my stuff, so I'm just going to add this label real quick. I'm just calling it a long triangle pocket. Another one, the other week, we were working on like circle pockets. And another fun technique that I've done before is just taking like a different type of circle, and you can use a template. It doesn't matter what you use. You can use like a bowl or a lid or something circular that's the same size as your page or close to it. And I did choose to do a pocket that was pretty much the same size as my page, the length and the width. And I just want to make a circle top on the top of it. So I am going to just take, and this is just a die cut, I am just going to draw around it. And again, you guys just use whatever circle shape you have in your stash. And I'm just going to find a pencil here, and we're just going to, I just want the top to be circular, basically, is what I'm just doing. I'm just adding a top page edger or something on my pocket. And this one's also cool, like if I were to do another one and make it slightly smaller, you could easily double or triple up this pocket using the same method. Doing another sheet that's slightly smaller that has another rounded corner on the top. I'm just going to do this one, and I'll just remember that. And I might actually glue it a little lower on my page and cut off a little bit on the bottom. So I'm going to cut off a little bit on the bottom here. Let me just do that real quick. So this one again is kind of a simple one. Just sometimes it looks kind of nice to have the curve at the top. And so let's go ahead and glue this one down. I've done this one before in maybe 1 or 2 of my journals. It's been quite a while since I've done this one, but I was thinking about it the other day when we were working on the other circle stuff. And I had wanted to show you guys this one, but I was running out of time on that video. So we'll just glue this one down real quick. So then I would probably stick a journal card inside of this pocket versus a tag, or else a really tall tag. But again, if you were to cut another piece of paper and just make it a little bit shorter, you could double up this pocket or triple up, or even maybe even 4 times, and that would look really cool on a page. So I'm just going to call this a half circle top pocket. You know, and if I'm taking notes, I would maybe write a note that you can double up on it, but I'll remember that that's an option, so I'm not going to do another page similar to that one. I've done that a few times in the journal. And then while we were talking about different tops or edges on our pockets, I thought it was important to mention pockets that you can use your die cuts for. And I'll pull out a couple here. I did grab some from my stash. Or if you have like paper punches that do borders, that's what I'm talking about. You know, I have some Spellbinder ones that do nice borders. Actually, quite a few Spellbinders. These ones are Heartfelt Creations with a little bit of a curve in them. I do these ones making pockets. They're really fun, especially if you do layered pockets. If you do 2 or 3 pockets, it's kind of fun to have like these curves on them. And, you know, maybe I'll do one of those down the road. Here's another curvy one, which again, that's kind of fun. So I just wanted to show those, and I just wanted to remind myself, I'm just calling this a decorative edge pockets using punches or cutting dies. You know, I could probably make, 10, 15, 20 of these in my journal, in this journal, as pocket ideas, just using all the die cuts I have. But I think just putting one in will remind me that I have all sorts of dies in my stash, and, a few border punches also that I could use. And you could do this one horizontally or vertically, it doesn't really matter. I just chose to do it horizontally today. Or, vertically. Sorry about that. This one's a vertical one. Just not thinking fully, I guess. And if I were taking some notes on here, I would write down that you can make, you can double up on your pockets here. And maybe I'll do that later, but I'm going to call this page done. And then I have one last one to share with you guys today. And that is using another circle. So sometimes when I make circles, like you guys saw, I use just a cutting die, and of course I could run it through my machine. But if you don't have circle dies, big circle dies, you can take, this is a lid from a box. You can take a bowl, you can take a plate and make a circle. So this one is kind of a fun one that's been around for a while, and I'm not sure who the original person was that made this one, this pocket, but it basically goes on your page like this, and then you would have, a pocket here. Depending upon how you glued it, you'd have a pocket back here. Then you have 2 little pockets right here, or tuck spots. So you kind of get, 3 pockets for sure, from 3 or 4 if you count each of these separate. It just depends. And if you have one back here. And so I kind of did a rough one just so I remembered how to do it. It took me a minute to remember how to do it. And this circle right here is 9 3/4 if you guys want to know. And it makes a nice 5-inch wide pocket. And this is the one that I'm going to put into my journal. And I wrote out instructions, which I want to show you guys what I do when I do. My plan is for when I make pockets that are a little bit more, have more folds in them. some people would just, I could easily just take this and not glue it, because you would glue these down right here, and you put a little bit of glue right here to glue this pocket in. You could just attach it and not glue it shut at all, so then you would be able to take it out and look at it if you're just making a reference journal. But I want to glue it. And what I'm going to do, just so I remember how I did it again, is I took out graph paper and I drew on it, and I'll kind of explain, and I wrote just my little notes that make sense to me. They might not make sense to anybody else. And then I also put a couple notes on the back side, and I'm going to slip this inside of the pocket, and then I'll glue it down onto my journal page, and then I'll just be able to pull it out and say, oh yeah, that's how I did it. But I will show you guys, and then I'll hold up my instructions again at the end, so in case you want to kind of go do my instructions, write them down, make your own graph paper drawing, you can do that. But for me, I'm going to pull them out so I'm looking at them. What I like to do is I like to find where all my middle is on the circles, and this one is a 7 3/4 inch circle, so I'm going to see how big this one is wide, because I want, you know, another idea besides this one, which is a little bit bigger circle. Again, that one was 9 3/4, and that fit, if you have a page that's, you know, 5 inches or bigger, it fits on that one. So I like to find my middles, and I just sometimes carefully just kind of fold it in half. I don't fold all the way, but I just kind of carefully fold it, and I kind of push it on both ends. And that kind of gives me, and I do it on all 4 sides, so that I kind of know again. And if you need to, you can make little marks with your pencils. I already had the top ones marked. And that just gives me kind of a rough idea. And the first step then is you're going to take kind of these 2 middle sides here, the middle points, and then I also like to look at where the middle is in my circle. And I kind of know where that is. And I'm going to take these 2, and I'm basically going to fold them down like this. And I do like to work on some sort of surface, like this one you guys can see has the lines and the graph on it. That's going to make your life easier, because I will line up my top of my circle down here with the bottom of my circle. And then I kind of know too, and I can also put a ruler down, which sometimes is helpful, or a straight edge. I mean, you can always use a book edge or something. And I'm just going to take this side right here, and I'm going to make a valley fold, which goes down. And I'm just going to make a fold. And I'm trying to, on the side here, there's this line. And I'm trying to kind of line that up. I'm probably more concerned about having that straighter than it 100% meeting here in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to fold it in. And the ruler also just helps to make sure that I don't go over. If you want your circle pocket to kind of look uniform, it's not that big of a deal if it's not perfect. It just might look slightly off, but you know, and as like I like to say, it's perfectly imperfect. So this is what we have now. So we made those 2 valley folds right here. And while it's still down, the next step is to decide, and this fold can kind of go wherever you want it to go. Again, I kind of know where my halfway mark is right here. If you were to fold it completely in half, it's going to look like this, and you definitely, so you know, chances are you probably don't want it like that, so you need to fold this somewhere under the halfway mark. And again, this is just going to be your own personal preference. You know, it might base on how tall you want your pocket, based on your paper. You know, you could do a really short one. And so I'm just going to take a spot. And again, I'm just trying to line up my pocket on the lines. And then I'm also trying to fold on one of the lines down here, just so it looks kind of nice. And that's what we have so far. And now to make it look more like this pocket, we are going to open it up. And so here's that fold that we just did right here. I am going to cut in from here to the side fold. Like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the circle. So now we have a circle that looks like this. You know, here's what it looks like on the other side. So then the next step then is to fold this in. And then you're going to fold this up, but you're going to leave your little wings out. And then you're going to fold them the opposite way. And you have to decide, do you like your little pocket like this? Or you could turn the whole thing around and say, well, I'd rather have it, you know, the background this way. And you could do it like that. I like the other way, so that's what I'm going to do. This would be a great pocket to make if you have double-sided paper. And then the other thing is if you made any little marks with pencils to erase the pencil marks. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue right down here just a little bit, just to close my pocket shut. And then push those two flaps or wings in. Now you could have had a slightly different look, like when I folded these two papers in, I could have had them cross over even more, and that would have given me just a slightly different look. But I like this look, so that's why I went that way. All right. Then this one gets folded up. And I'm going to go, I need to erase a couple more marks here before I do anything. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue these ones down real quick on the bottoms. Then the other thing now is you need to glue this pocket up. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. I'm going to put some glue here and a little bit of glue here. And then let's just measure this one because I'm kind of curious on this one. What did I say? This circle was originally like 7 3/4. I had a little sticky note with the size, but I think it was 7 3/4. And so this one ended up being 4 inches across, which is a really nice number. So I'm actually going to take that note on the back of my little notes that I'm taking, a 7 3/4 inch circle makes 4 inches wide pocket. And that's just my own notes, just so I know if I'm making a journal and I know my pages. So if I had a page that was only 3 inches across, I know I would definitely need to start off with a smaller circle than this. You know, so now you would glue this one down. And you could, depending upon if you glued it here and here and here onto the page, then you'd have a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here. But you could also, I'm looking for some of my smaller tags. You know, you could maybe stick a little one in. I needed a slightly bigger one, but you could stick up something there and there too. So there's kind of different spots where you could stick stuff in this one. You could stick, you know, a little one there. Let's see if I have some more small tags here. You could stick a tag here, tag up here. You know, another one there. You have one right here. Could stick one behind here and a tag there. So actually, you know, there's a lot of little tuck spots on this one. So I kind of like that. I I want to glue this bigger one down though onto my journal page. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one real quick. And then I'll show you guys my little notes if you want to copy my notes or my little graph paper that I did with my little drawings on it. And for me, the biggest thing on when I was writing my notes was just to get where the folds were and the cuts were. Usually after that, I can figure things out. And again, I still have some pencil marks on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this one into my to my journal page. So I have another journal page here. And, you know, this one would have looked a lot better being, you know, double-sided paper, especially when you have, and I don't know that I like it on that paper. I'd rather have it on the more neutral one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this one then, and you could also use it as a floating pocket too. I mean, I could attach it with a paper clip and it would be a floating pocket that you could remove, or a removable one. But I'm going to make it into another pocket here. Very fun. I like this one. This one's kind of a fun one. I think I've only made this one other time. Like I said, it took me a while to remember how to do it. And I'm not quite sure what this one is called. You know, multiple pockets from a circle. So I probably need to, I think I called it 3 pockets from one circle, but yeah, maybe I'll just leave it at that. I'll just call it 3 pockets. Because I kind of feel like these are tuck spots right there. And then I'll just say with tuck spot. So again, I would have a pocket up here. So that's 1, 2, and I don't know if you call that 3. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have called it that. So I guess you guys name it something else. I need to maybe come up with something else for that one. So I'm just going to take this off. And I don't know what I should call it. This is when I wish I did lives and you guys could just pipe in and tell me exactly what I should call it. I'll just call it multiple pockets. From one circle. How about that? Well, that's what we'll call it. Or I guess you could just call it pockets from a circle or something. All right. And then I'll show you guys my instructions real quick. So here's my instructions, and I'll kind of tell you guys what I did. So I drew a circle on graph paper. And again, I kind of found where the middle was at the top and bottoms and the sides, because that just helps me orientate a little bit. And then my next instructions is after you cut your circle, find your middle points, and then you want to make some valley folds. And I know that the colors aren't going to show up very well on camera because my markers were kind of drying out, but I did a valley fold. I drew in some dots right here, and so I said valley fold on both sides towards the middle, and this is kind of a pink color marker right here, so that, we folded in this way with that one. And then once I did that, my next step was to valley fold the bottom up. So I would, I drew in dots along here, and they were supposed to be purple dots, but they're showing up black on camera. So I drew across here where I wanted to fold up. And again, you can do that fold wherever you want. It could be, I could have done it a little higher or a little lower. You just want it underneath the middle spot. So whatever makes sense to you for instructions. Again, I just said valley fold, bottom circle up, I had the purple dots, and then just to fold below the halfway point. So, and then after I did that, then I also said that I needed to open the circle up. And then once you open the circle up, you need to cut. And then this was supposed to be blue lines, but again, it's showing up as black. My marker was just not cooperating, so it looks very black. But I also wrote the word cut right there, just on that line. And then I just said decide on the orientation of your circle pockets and glue. I didn't add any other instructions because this was enough for me. I just needed to remember where to fold and where to cut was basically what I did. So, I mean, you guys could take it a step further and draw a whole bunch of circles, you know, with each step. I've done that before if it's a really complicated one where I might draw 5 or 6 circles on my graph paper and do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and have it separate on each one. But this works for me, and so that's how I kind of do my instructions on things. And then on the back side, I did write a couple notes, like I think it's important to watch your paper choice, because when you fold this pocket up, it is going to be backwards, so it's probably better to have a piece of paper that looks okay from whatever orientation it is. And like maybe something with all circles or dots, or this one had flowers on it, so it didn't really matter. And then I also made my little note that a 9 3/4 inch circle makes 5-inch wide pocket, which is what this one is. And then that other one that we did together, I also kind of made the note that a 7 3/4 inch circle makes 4 inches wide pocket. So if I make any more in the future and I pull out this inspiration book, idea book, I can take some more notes. I have more room to take more notes on this one if I need it. And again, I can store that either on the back side of this pocket or right in here. I think I'm just going to put it right there. So, so yeah, that's it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you'll join me again for another day of working in our pocket idea journals, our reference journals. And until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.